Hey, good evening, family. Good evening. Welcome to the Dollar for Dollar Business Credit Training. I am under the weather, y'all, to be honest, so I will not have my camera on because I'm literally thugging this out and doing this from the bed. That's how sick I am right now. But I am still committed to showing up because listen, that's what we're here for. We're here to give this knowledge and take our family to the next level. Now, I'm trying to get my slides added for y'all so y'all can see clearly what we about to get into. But if you are in this presentation right now, you are here because you want to learn more about business credit, right? Like the foundational pieces of business credit, the the pieces that you need to in order to get this bag. And I love business credit. Business credit is something that has credit in general is something that has changed my life. So I'm always happy to speak about it and put my community on as it pertains to taking us to the next level. So without further ado, y'all, my people tapping in, just drop a comment where you tapping in from so I know. And also tell me on a scale of 1 to 10 what your expertise or knowledge is as it pertains to business credit. Okay. From like 0 being the worst, I know absolutely nothing, to 10 being you can replace me right here, right now. Where is your knowledge as it pertains to business credit? Okay. Where is your knowledge? There we go. Couldn't figure out what the slides was at. What is your knowledge? And as we wait for that, y'all, I'm gonna do a quick little introduction of myself. My name is Rari. I'm the founder of VinHer. Obviously, VinHer is a business consulting company where we help Black startups start, fund, and scale. So we use a lot of the knowledge that we have around credit, automation, LLC startup information, et cetera, to help Black businesses start off on the right foot and get this knowledge that they need. I'm also a real estate investor, and I own a home inspection company. So those are two things that you should know about me as far as my investments in my portfolio. But however, if you all are new here, then y'all know that we started our humble beginnings in the vending machine business. That is how we started, hence the name Vend Her. All right, some vendors, but her. So in this presentation, we're going to talk about what you need prior to getting funding. Okay, we're going to talk about what you need after you get funding. We're going to talk about also how you can scale this, so how you can use funding, business funding, to take your business up to the next level. Okay, okay, Atlanta in the house. I'm in Atlanta as well. So when it comes to business credit, y'all, and feel free to share this presentation link out to anyone. We are streaming this on YouTube, so anyone can join. Okay, all right. And at the end of this, I'm going to share with you all information about my membership, just so you can be aware of that. So when it comes to business credit, y'all, a couple reasons why we love business credit. The first thing is we can leverage it, right? We don't have to use our own personal credit when we're leveraging business credit. Also, the versatility of it. The versatility of business credit allows what? It allows us to be able to use the funding that we have so that it does not impact our personal debt to income ratio, depending on the card that we have. It also allows us to get these tax benefits. Why? Because we are a business and not an individual. So we're able to leverage credit to invest in our businesses. And then on the flip side of that, benefit from those tax benefits. Because if you know anything about businesses, businesses are the most protected entities in this country. Okay. And then also you have what's most important to me, a greater borrowing power. There's no reason why the lender will say an individual needs a $25,000 credit card. However, it makes sense for them to give you a $25,000 credit card if you are a business. Okay, doesn't that make sense? A lot of businesses are spending that type of money. A lot of businesses are leveraging debt. So now we're going to go over everything that you need prior to getting funding. And we're going to start off with the business foundation information because this is the key to successfully obtaining funding. And I'm going to go over everything you need to help you be in good standing with at the state and federal level so that you can go and get some funding. All right. First things first, business name. You need you a non-risky business name. What does that mean? It means that when you choose names like credit repair, trucking, logistics, real estate, et cetera, just from your name alone on the application, it automatically tells lenders your level of risk prior to you even getting approved for the funding. So if you're in a high-risk industry, your name of your business will give that away immediately. So we want to try to eliminate from that first level at least, we want to try to eliminate getting automatically declined just off of our business's name. So you want to try names that have group in it, enterprises, um, consulting, firm, whatever you want to say, but try not to include those risky business names, even if it is indeed an actual risky business. Okay. Now, after you get that name secured, you want to look at this business address. Okay. Lenders will look up your business's address. So if you're like me and you work from home, you run your business out of your home, you want to get what they call a virtual business address or an office suite. And so you can see a couple examples here, and feel free to take pictures of whatever you want to take pictures of. This is a completely complimentary business credit training for you all. So take as many pictures and many notes as you need. So you want to get these virtual business addresses if you do not, in fact, have a physical brick and mortar address. Your physical brick and mortar address means that you have a storefront, right? It means you can walk into your business and you have a storefront. Those will always reign supreme over any type of address. Second in line, you have your virtual address. Third, your personal address. And you never want to get a P.O. box. And we're specifically talking about to get funding, y'all. You never want to get a P.O. box. And you don't want to get any of those USPS boxes, any of those virtual offices that, in fact, are not physical locations, okay? When it comes to your business entity, so your business entity essentially is what you create, that legal entity to engage in any activities that your business actually does. So in my opinion, even if you're not ready to physically start your business, I would create the entity anyways. And the reason why I would do that is because age matters a lot when it comes to funding. So even if you're not ready to actually perform the business, if you actually let that business get aged while you wait, that's going to give you a leg up in comparison to that person who has a brand new business, even if they started working in their business sooner than you. The lenders don't know when you actually started performing work in the business. They just know that what the age is of the business. So the other reason why you want to look into this is because there's this thing called a corporate veil. That corporate veil is what separates you personally from your business, okay? So you don't want to pierce that corporate veil. And I want y'all to take some time to look into what that corporate veil is outside of this training. But the more you blend personal and business, the more you essentially are piercing that corporate veil. And that prevents you from getting that makes you more risky or more liable to be sued when it comes to your business. This is just a side tip outside of funding, right? But you definitely want to make sure you're separating your expenses personally from business and everything else, all right? So when it comes to your business's phone and business's email, you want to get a legitimate business phone number. So a toll-free 1-800 phone number, not a 1-888 number, not an 833, not an 855. You want to get a 1-800 number, don't insert your area code, not a 678, not a 202, not a 513, not a 614, not a 212, none of those. 1-800 number, okay? You can see I have some recommendations below. I personally use Freedom Voice, and I have that phone forwarded to my personal phone, so I get the calls. Again, I'm just paying for this phone each month, really, so I can have a front online on documentation, but also so I can separate personal from business. Once again, when it comes to your business email, you want to get what's called a business domain, okay, an email domain. This domain essentially is what professionalizes your emails. So when you have a business, right? I see we got Teresa in here. Let's say Teresa's business was called Atlanta 7, right? Because that's what I see. Teresa will put info@atlanta7.com or sales@atlanta7.co or security@atlanta7.net. Whatever your business name is will replace that domain. Typically, we create free domains using Gmail or Yahoo or something like that. So when you go and get this legitimate email, this helps out with your professionalism, but it also helps out with your delivery rates for your emails, because Gmails, sometimes when you've never emailed somebody, it'll go directly to spam. So that's just another side note. Y'all ain't know y'all was getting a full training, huh? Y'all ain't know I was gonna be dropping game on other stuff, huh? That's how we do it in the Ben Hur family. All right. So when it comes to your business's website or landing page, yes, it would be helpful for you to have one of these. A lot of these things, somebody might say, are they mandatory? A lot of these things are not necessarily mandatory. However, it helps you out tremendously. When we're putting ourselves against other people who are going to go get funding, I want to create the best profile front facing. Again, a lot of these times you're getting automatically approved or automatically declined based on what they can pull from a computer. Okay, so we want to have as much information we can give them as possible. So you want to secure your domain for your website as well. All right, you want to secure your domain for the website as well. And again, that's going to be whatever your business is. So back to Teresa, as y'all can see, this is what Teresa put. It'll be www.atlanta7.com, www.atlanta7 whatever.co. That is what you will do essentially to get that domain secured. Now, if you have a risky business, I recommend that you create a page that's for your clients and then a page that you want to use for securing funding. So obviously your client page will have whatever services you want to offer, and then whatever you want to disclose to the bank as far as your services will be on the actual site for them. The difference between a website and a landing page, your website is going to be more comprehensive, right? So when you check out, for example, Apple's page, you're going to see iPads, iPhones, iMacs, the speakers. You're going to see everything. You can go select whatever page you want. That's a comprehensive website. But then if you go somewhere else, they might just have one page where you can only do what's on that page. That's a landing page. For a new business that doesn't have a lot of different services, I recommend that y'all create landing pages. Those work just as well. You do not need to pay for or invest in a full website that's going to be incomplete, if that makes sense, because you don't have enough to build it out. Now, you want to get your business EIN number. This is basically your social security number. This is called your employer identification number. You need this number for every single thing related to your business. Business checking and savings accounts, business credit, hiring employees, payroll, filing taxes. I mean, you need it for everything in order to actually prove that your business is an actual business. I recommend that you actually apply for your EIN once your LLC is approved, and once you have all of that information to like conclude that that LLC won't come back unapproved, and now you have a what's up, Angel? And then you have a business that hasn't been approved, but you got an EIN that was approved. So keep that in mind. Now, some states actually require that you complete the LLC prior to filling out the LLC. I know that Louisiana is one of those states. So it doesn't matter when you complete it. Just know that it's a thing that's needed. It goes hand in hand with your LLC. EINs are free. If you are on a page that said an EIN costs money, you're on the wrong page. Anything that says .gov at the end is going to be a legitimate site. .gov, .sos, that's going to be a state or federal website. Okay, SOS stands for Secretary of State. So when you complete your LLC, you're going to see SOS or .gov behind these state websites. When you're on the actual federal website for your EIN, you're going to see .gov. That's going to let you know that it's a legitimate site. Again, if you see a charge for an EIN, that means that it's an independent third-party company charging you to complete your EIN on behalf of you. Okay? Now, again, we're just taking note of everything that we need from the legal foundation in order to go get business funding. Okay? You need your business checking account. So I recommend that you start working with small business-friendly banks. I would add some money to those accounts, let it season. That's going to help you increase your bank rating and then your approval odds. Okay? And I'm going to get into that in this next slide. When you let money season into these accounts, typically you'll want to let it season over 3 months or 90 days. Okay? The higher your bank rating is directly parallel with how much money you let season. So a lot of people recommend that you go in at that low 5, so a minimum invest $10K into the bank. If you don't have $10K, it does not mean that you will not get approved. It does not mean that you'll have a bad bank rating. However, this is just facts that the more money you invest with them, the more money they can borrow from you to make interest on, the better and more likely you are getting approved for funding. One of my highest credit cards, I put $150 into the account and got approved for $15,000. So again, there's no necessary math behind how much you put in to how much you're going to get back. However, something is better than nothing. You need your Dun & Bradstreet number. That's what we call your DNB number, okay? This is one of the main 3 business credit bureaus, all right? And this is what generates your business credit score, known as your paydex score. This is where you'll want to build out your EIN only business credit, okay? It's going to report to DMV and the other credit bureaus as well. This is where those net 30 accounts are going to report. Again, the DUNS number is also free. It comes through email as soon as you're done completing it, or sometimes it takes a little while to get it. Keep in mind, though, that Dun & Bradstreet will harass you and call you repeatedly to upsell you on different services that they have. You do not need those to build out your business credit. You also want to keep in mind your business NAICS code or your NAICS code. Now, this NAICS code, is essentially a code that determines how your business is categorized. All right. So you want to choose a NAICS code that categorizes your business with the least amount of risk as possible. Okay. If your business gets pushed into the wrong NAICS code, they could obviously categorize you automatically as high risk. Then one might say, well, how could they do that? How could they classify me? Well, if you didn't enter a NAICS code and they go based off your name or the description that you give your business, they can just give you whatever NAICS code they think most closely relates to the type of business that you have or the name that you put in, which again is why I said make sure it's not a risky name, because that could go for automatic decline when they put you through based on your NAICS code or a more strenuous underwriting process. Here is the general business consultant code. It goes for all types of consulting, 541611. And this is the one that I use for my business because I am, in fact, in consulting. Now, getting towards the end of this, you want to be mindful of your business's searchability, especially if you have a generic name. You want to make sure your business is easily discoverable to lenders. So that's why you want to make sure your information for your business is consistent. And you also want to make sure that you list your business on these different sites. So as you can see right here, these different places that you can go ahead and jot down and start building out your profile with them. Okay. And this is only after you have already gotten everything, including your name, phone number, website, et cetera, so that you can plug those into these different places so that you increase your SEO, which is your search engine optimization. All right. So as it pertains to your business and the things we talked about, here's a general list overall to look at those things. Again, at the bottom, I have business trademark. Your trademark is extremely important. I put that in here because it has nothing to do with funding, but you will want to make sure that prior to you getting all of this stuff sorted out in your business, that you actually look into getting your business trademarked or see if it's available for trademark so that you can put in a preliminary application so that you don't get all of this stuff built out and then you're not able to actually protect the business because someone else owns it. Just putting this out there, y'all. All right. So that was a bunch of information that comes in my DIY LLC course. All of the people in my Next Gen community get that complimentary with their membership. So I just wanted to let y'all know about that, especially as I pitch this to you all at the end as far as the membership goes. Now, once we get through the foundational pieces of the funding, right, we want to talk about what we do after funding. So we're going to actually build this business credit now. So when it comes to building business credit, we have 3 main bureaus: DMV, excuse me, y'all. Sorry, I told you I'm sick. I'm trying to get through this as best as I can. Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax, and Experian. These are the 3 main business credit bureaus that lenders are going to be reporting to on the business side. Now, when it comes to that business credit being reported, you want to get what's called NAV, N-A-V. NAV is what Credit Karma is to personal credit to business credit. It is a credit monitoring service for business credit, but what's great about them is they also report as a trade line. It does cost. It has a monthly fee around $40. However, this is something that you all will want to get because they give you recommendations on what you need to actually build out your credit on the business side. Okay. So when it comes to building your EIN only business credit, there's a couple different tiers. My people in my membership know how I feel about EIN only business credit. And I'm going to be impartial for this training, okay? And you know what I mean. So when it comes to tier 1, net 30 vendor accounts, y'all, okay? The net accounts are not revolving. What does it mean to revolve? Revolving means that they give you a credit line, a credit limit up front, and you spend it, and what you owe revolves around the money that you spent. Net terms means that you have to pay back the net expenses owed, everything that you owe within whatever terms they have. So a lot of the tier 1 vendors have 17, 15, 30 days to pay back off these cards. And you always want to call with these net 30 accounts to see what those terms are. Some of them have minimum requirements for orders that you have to fulfill in order for it to actually report as a trade line. I would hate for you to be buying these things and then it doesn't even report as a trade line, okay? Because you didn't meet the minimum requirements. Obviously, when you're buying these things, keep in mind that buy the things that you need for your business, but don't waste what you're buying. If you need something for the crib and you like, I don't need nothing else for the business, do what you got to do. You feel me? A little bit of tissue roll ain't gonna hurt nobody. It ain't gonna hurt nobody. Now you need 5 trade lines to generate that paydex score, 5 to 6 to move through the tier. I mean, only 3 are taken into consideration to actually generate the paydex score. 5 to 6 is what's going to put you in the best position to go and move to that next level without dealing with too many roadblocks trying to get tier 2 funding. Okay. Make sure that these accounts report to the business credit bureaus, because if not, then what's the point of you paying for them? And then once the score is actually generated from these accounts, you do not need to keep paying for items from those different vendors. So once it actually reports on your credit report, then that means that you're good to go. You don't need to keep invested in them, and you can put that money towards another vendor. All right. So feel free to take a picture of this. These are 6 different tier 1 accounts that you can invest in. Start building out that tier 1 credit on EIN, the EIN only business credit. And those descriptions also describe what they have, like what type of items that they have for you. Okay. So feel free again, take a picture, because I'm about to move to the next slide, and call them and ask them what their terms are. Some of them have their terms on their website, but most of them do not. Okay. Now, when you move to tier 2, you start moving away from vendor accounts and towards what we call retail accounts and even some credit cards. So here's a list of those different cards once you hit tier 2. But as with business credit for the EIN only, you have to build each level a particular way in order to actually get approved for the funding as you work your way up. So these lenders, the great thing about EIN only business credit is that they are super transparent. They're going to tell you exactly what you need in order to qualify for their credit. It's going to be very straightforward. They're not going to be like PG business credit. They're going to tell you exactly what you need and if you got it or not. Really straightforward. All right. Now, when it comes to tier 3, that's when we get to our fleet cards. So if you're in trucking or the ride share industry, this is going to be perfect for you. And something to keep in mind, y'all, is that some of these cards you can get approved for these at different levels. So for example, I got approved for a Shell card at tier 1, and I got plenty of other people approved as well. But sometimes with these this EIN funding, what will happen is essentially they will approve you. However, they might not give you as high of a credit limit as they would if you had stacked up your profile some more. So it's important that you all keep that in mind when it comes to getting funding. Okay. Different levels might approve you at different levels, right? But that might impact what funding you get as well. Now, outside of your EIN only funding, we have what we call fintech business credit or fintech credit in general. This is the direction that the industry is going in whole, because it's supposed to be a more equitable way to allow people to get credit. And so essentially these fintech companies, they determine your eligibility, not necessarily on your credit scores, but based on the amount of money or liquidity that you have in your bank accounts. So they use these verification companies like Plaid to confirm the transactions that have happened in your accounts. And a lot of them are non-PG, but many of them still do soft pulls. So your credit still needs to look good in some capacity. So this type of credit will work for somebody who doesn't have the best credit, but you would have to have a strong profile and you would have to have a good amount of liquidity so that they can trust the money that they're letting you borrow. These accounts are very similar to the vendor accounts. They also typically are not revolving. Some of them are, some of them are not. The payoff terms are 15 days, 30 days, 45 days. It just depends on the card. Some of them are charge cards like this, which means you net terms. Some of them are revolving. But the great thing about these credit cards is that these are regular Visa and MasterCards. You can use these cards anywhere you want to, versus the EIN only credit. You can only use these vendors at these places. Target, Best Buy, Staples, Amazon, all of them cards have to be used there pretty much. But these cards here, fintech cards, these cards are going to be able to be used anywhere where they accept Visa, MasterCard, or whatever the card type is. What's up, Catherine? What's up, sis? Got my next gen family in here supporting. Okay, so take a picture of these cards and look into essentially what they are going to be asking for as far as the fintech credit. Now we have fintech credit, but we also have fintech business loans and other types of funding, right? So the difference between a business loan or a line of credit versus a credit card, right? The credit card, it's a credit card, right? It depends on what money you spend on the card. The loan or line of credit it's an installment loan. So they're going to give you a certain amount of money up front, and then you have to pay that money back with certain terms over a certain amount of time. So these companies right here do fintech funding, which means sometimes they're not PGing you. Still might be a soft pool, but they're not PGing, and they're using the liquidity, the strength of your business accounts to get you approved. All right. As we get towards the end, we're gonna jump into PG business credit. Now, in my opinion, I prefer PG business credit because it's much more straightforward. You don't have to deal with all of the BS that EIN has. Either you get approved or you don't get approved. However, with PG business credit, you are 100% more vulnerable to liabilities that happen because you're personally guaranteeing it. That's what it means to PG something. You are personally guaranteeing your business's debts. So that's something to keep in mind when you are actually PGing your business. So they're more likely to get you approved a little bit quicker, even sooner, even if you have a new business, because they know that they can pay you if something goes left. Now, here's the criteria to get the PG business credit. Again, this is not a one size fits all. It doesn't mean that if you have late payments or higher than 30% utilization, or, it doesn't mean that if you don't have things on this list that you will not get approved. It just means that if you don't have them, you might have a harder time getting approved, or harder time getting higher limit approvals, or even, what is the word I'm looking for? Harder time getting higher limit approvals, or even getting approved at all. So make sure y'all take a picture of that as well. I hope y'all don't hear me over here dying. I'm trying not to hack. Marcus, I'm gonna answer your question as soon as we get to the end of this, friend. All right. Hopefully y'all got that picture. Now, when it comes to PG funding, y'all, what I told y'all was really it. Okay. So when it comes to your PG funding, you want to make sure you take the same things that I told you before. You want to make sure that you're letting some money season in these bank accounts. You want to start off with the small and regional banks. You want to put yourself in a position so that you are actually able to get this funding and leverage this funding, because PG funding can happen once you have a great credit profile. Doesn't have to be perfect. It needs to be decent though, because they're taking this to get you approved as it pertains to getting that business funding. Now, when you get this credit, y'all, you can start actually funding yourself in something, or funding yourself, but as well as funding clients. So something that I provided to people in my next gen family is I provided them with a funding tracker spreadsheet so that they could keep track of every single data point that they enter for each bank, so they knew exactly what it takes to get approved or not approved from each bank. And so once they know those things, how hard is it going to be for you to go and help somebody else go get funding once you know exactly what's needed, or what you had to go get approved, right? Because it's not always a 100% guarantee. However, we know, okay, if they approve me, then I might be able to find somebody with similar profile. And if I fund them, $50K, I just made $5,000 just off of my knowledge. So my people, my next gen community, automatically get that spreadsheet, and that's something that helps out tremendously when it comes to getting that funding. Now, when it comes to creating your own funding matrix, like I said, you want to look at these types of banks, all right, credit unions, regional banks, and then national banks. You want to work up the tiers. What you need to know is your risk appetite for the bank. Like, what is their risk appetite? What are their underwriting guidelines? Source the data, and will they block you from getting additional funding? Those things are very, very important, okay? So here are some questions that you might want to ask when you're speaking with these banks or when you're building relationships with them, you want to know certain things that will help you get approved, right? Because I want to know before I apply, what is my likelihood of getting approved? Okay, so take these questions down and keep these in the back of your mind when you're going to go ask them what is needed to go get funding. A lot of them will say, oh, they'll give you some generic question. I would never go for like a generic answer. Never let them just hoe you, essentially. I would ask them, okay, they'd be like, so I'd be like, okay, so, I typically keep my credit bureaus like for security purposes. Do you all have a bureau that, which bureau do you recommend I unlock so that I can get my credit pulled to receive, so the application can go through? Some will tell you, some will not. It just depends on how they are as an individual. So, you could just keep working to get that answer. But if you can't get it, then you move on without it. All right. And then you tap into different communities to ask those people, all right, I'm in Georgia. I'm applying for this bank. Which bureau did they pull for you? So then you can start building out your matrix so that you don't have too many hard inquiry pulls for your funding, okay? Because you have to have a strategy behind what you're doing. Now, here are some more things that you should have in line and prepared prior to you going to go speak with these banks, all right? Because they will ask you these things. I was even asked these questions, which I was thrown off a little bit. I was asked these questions when I was at the bank just to open up an account. Feel me? Just to open up an account, they wanted to know these things plus more. And as I'm answering their questions, I'm in my phone documenting what I'm saying, because at the end of the day, I got to remember what I said. If we doing a lot of projecting, you got to remember what you projected, okay? It gets a little foggy sometimes. So I keep a note in my phone with just a funding note in general of everything that I've applied to, decline, approved, reconsideration lines, phone numbers, anything, whole thing documented, okay? Now, once you go and get this funding, y'all, there are so many different things that you can get into when it comes to leveraging business credit. You can obviously do what I love, which is real estate. You can invest in digital products, which will get you that passive income bag, stocks and options, car rentals, consulting, vending, healthcare. I mean, you name it. It's a bunch of different people who are passionate about different things, but getting business credit allows us to be able to leverage that so we can invest in the things that we need to invest in to 10x the business as soon as possible. So these are just some miscellaneous tips that I want to give you all. Take a picture of it. Feel free to ask questions about it later. But these tips essentially are things that will help you leverage even more the credit piece. Okay. Yeah, that's really that. All right, y'all. So as we wrap this up, I'm going to take some questions in a couple minutes. Feel free to drop them into the chat or in the comment section on YouTube. I want to tell y'all about my membership really, really quickly. And if there are any people who are in the membership right now who can leave a little note about it in the comments, that would be greatly appreciated. But I wanted to show you all a little bit about the Next Gen membership, which is a membership that I have. It's a private membership that we meet weekly on Tuesdays to discuss different things related to the starting, funding, scaling, and other things to protect your business. And so I'm super excited about this membership because we've been able to get some phenomenal people into this membership who are really community oriented and very invested in taking people to the next level. So those who paid the $1 to get into this training tonight, you're automatically in for your 14 days. You're going to get everything you need to go ahead and get started. You don't have to pay anything additional for tonight. However, if you have not, you pay $1 for a trial tonight, right? You will pay $1 for a trial tonight, and then you'll hit that link right there. And after that, it is $97 monthly, which is not a lot at all. You break that down at $3 a day. That's like a McDouble and a small fry, or that's less than a coffee at Starbucks at this point. Shoot, that's less than water at Starbucks. Inflation is so high, y'all. It's wild. But again, we meet weekly Tuesdays. There's a additional things that come with this as well, which I want to let you all know about. Struggling a little bit right now. Like I told you, I'm sick, so bear with me. But don't just listen to me. I want y'all to listen to the people who are in my community. Those people are the ones who can actually give you the information on why this community is so great. And I'm super grateful for them. But this is just little small things, right? When we talk about different plays, like the people who are investing into the community, we all work together to make one another better. Okay, we all work together to make one another better. We drop game on manufacturer spending. We talk about funding, legalization. This month we're talking about trademarking. We're talking about EIN only business credit. We're talking about what are we talking about this week? Tomorrow we're talking about how to price your products in your business. So the different things that people are actually struggling with are the things that we get into. And what makes this so great, right, is that I don't just come up with these topics and say, oh, this is what I want to talk about. I actually allow the people in my community to tell me what they want to hear about. And I bring people who are experts or very well knowledgeable about those particular topics if it's something that I can't teach myself, because I teach you a lot of things myself as well as it pertains to starting, funding, and scaling your business. Okay, so that is the link. Like I said, y'all, in addition to everything I've already dropped, everybody in the Next Gen family gets complimentary access to my Boss Your Business course. When I was selling this course, I was charging between $2,000 to $3,000 for this course, but I recognize that when it comes to the community and when it comes to how accessible I want to make this information so that we can take ourselves to the next level, I said, let me figure out how I can be even more valuable for our community, because it's enough people out here who are charging for things that are not valuable. And so in this course, I talk about the whole entire LLC guide. If y'all thought I gave a lot of information then, just wait till you see the course. Okay, it's going to be much more thorough. You all get access to it. Even people on the trial will get access to this course. That's how committed I am to helping y'all out and helping you learn about this community. Now, don't play with me. I tell people all the time. Now, if you're trying to join the trial with no hopes of taking it to the next level, I'm gonna remember your name now. I don't play about that, okay? Because don't ruin a good thing. All right. Now, this was one of the guest speakers I had, my mentor. She taught the community about mobile home investing last month. Super great conversation. I've had guest speakers come in, talk about business taxes, wholesaling real estate, fixing and flipping homes. Excuse me. And like I told y'all, what we have coming up this month, we're talking about estate planning. So my guy, Stevan, is coming to talk about estate planning, so how to pass down and transfer wealth. Do y'all think that's important or valuable in the Black community? I would say so myself. So I'm having the expert, a lawyer himself, come and speak to my community this month. I got to update this, but this is just to show y'all a quick overview. We create calendars for the community so people in NGM know exactly what they're getting prior to them getting it. I like to be very transparent, and I'll show them that between a week or two before the next month comes. So obviously people have full autonomy on whether they want to stick with it or not. All right. So again, the link is right here to join. I'm gonna drop it in the chat as well for y'all. And I look forward to seeing some of y'all there, because I know some of y'all eyes raised a little bit. Was like, I would say that's a good thing. I would say that's a good thing. All right. Come on, Angel. I love it. I love it. Thank you, Angel. Appreciate you, sis. Much love. Angel is my girl. She be coming in and killing it, and she is providing massive knowledge from the start. Okay. If we type that in, do we still get the same dollar? Don't see a link to click. I just dropped the link for you. Yes, you do get to type in for $1. You have to. Yes, come on, Catherine. Appreciate you, Catherine. Much love, sis. Catherine also got the game. She's in the community. She's in the hospitality industry, and she's always providing information, even just like randomly dropping travel hacks multiple times a week, dropping different videos that she sees online that can help people all the time. Okay. Marcus Jones, I just dropped a link for you. Thank you, Grand Imperial. I appreciate you. All right. Y'all go ahead and hit the welcome dot, and that's going to take you there. Marcus, so if you haven't made real money yet, then you shouldn't seek funding from those companies. Great question. If you haven't made any money yet, I would not seek funding from the EIN fintech companies. I wouldn't seek funding from the fintech companies just yet. In fact, one thing that I would do, now I'm going to give y'all a little gem before we hop off of here. All right. Now, let's say that you got some PG funding, right? Well, I teach the people in my community how to liquidate their credit cards. So one thing that you can do is liquidate your credit cards and pull that money off the credit cards and let it season in some bank accounts and just move the money around. So it look like you have transactions going through or whatnot. You'll pay the minimum fee for borrowing that money each month on the credit card, but then you can go and apply for the fintech business credit, who now sees, 10, 15, 20K in your bank accounts, and you were just leveraging your business credit that you already have to be able to do that. I sincerely hope that bar didn't go over y'all's head. I just hope it didn't. Marcus, did you catch that, Jim? I appreciate you, Angel. I'm coming back. Yes. How do we verify that we paid for this training so that we can do our complimentary 14 days? Marcus, if you invested in the training, my assistant is going to send out the information for you no later than tomorrow, so you can be on tomorrow's call, okay? So you're going to be locked in. Don't even worry about it. She'll send it tonight or tomorrow at the latest. Yep. Big Jim. Yeah. Appreciate it. And so even if you don't have credit right now, when you're at the place where you can leverage the credit, okay? When you're at the place where you can leverage the credit, that's just one little thing that you can do to help you. Same thing. I'm going to give you one more gem. All right. And y'all asked, we at 7:41. We're going to run this to 7:45. I'm going to give us 5 more minutes. So you could take the same thing that I just told you about liquidating the credit cards, right? So let's say that you need payroll. You need documentation to prove that you make a certain amount of money, right? You could take that same principle and run payroll doing the same thing. You can leverage your credit doing the same thing to run it in and out those accounts. And so it's documenting that you ran payroll for whatever amount to prove that you have the income that you say that you have. Oh my God. Let me get off this call. Let me get off this call. So y'all see what I'm saying now, right? Y'all following me? Yeah, Marcus said that is crazy. y'all seeing me? Are y'all seeing me? I hope y'all seeing me. Y'all got to get tapped in. He said that is crazy. Listen, y'all. So listen, I appreciate y'all for tapping in, family. I did as best as I could. I know I moved this. You said I would follow in the dark for this info. Yo, that is hilarious, Marcus. I love that. That's hilarious. I look forward to seeing y'all in the membership family again. Use this link, welcome.benher.co/nextgen membership. I want to see y'all log out right here, right now. of this training, and then go into click that link. If you already invested, you are already locked in. Expect an email from my assistant no later than tomorrow to go ahead and get y'all the information so y'all can be in tomorrow's call, which is talking about how to price things in your business. Oh my God, Tolu. So I look forward to having y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. I told you I'm in my bed because I'm underneath the weather. So we out here. We gonna make it happen regardless. So appreciate y'all, family, for tapping in. Make sure y'all click this link and get tapped in. and then we're going to work it like that. All right, family? Much love. I appreciate y'all for real. Take care.